I'll give you a bit of background to Ireland in terms of the type of country that would implement a blasphemy law in the 21st century. The IRA used to use condoms as part of the timing mechanism in their bombs to protect them. And some IRA members were opposed to the use of condoms on moral grounds. Our first censor in the 1920s, a guy called James Montgomery, banned 10 times as many films as the UK censor during the period in which he was in office. His philosophy, which he openly stated as censor, was, "I know nothing about movies, but I do know the 10 Commandments." We had a novelist in the 1960s, John McGahern, who had a book banned for being pornographic, a novel called The Dark, and he was a school teacher at the time and he was on leave of absence, and he was advised really you shouldn't come back after your leave of absence. But he came back. He was told by the parish priest that he was fired. He insisted on being told in writing why he was fired so that he could take it up with his union. The parish priest wrote him a letter saying, "Mr. McGahern knows exactly why he has been dismissed." He brought that to his union, and the union said, "Can't take up your case because officially you were on leave of absence, so your dues have fallen," but unofficially he was told, "If it had just been the book, we might have been able to take up the case, but the fact that you also married an English Protestant woman in a registry office makes you an impossible case." And one of the union officials at a meeting with McGahern later said that the guy seemed inebriated at the time, asked McGahern why he had married an English woman when there were so many Irish women going around with their tongues out for a husband. The gay rights agenda as well was very much influenced by the Catholic Church's opposition to gay rights. It was eventually won, and this is an issue I'm going to come back to later about atheist activism. It was eventually won in the courts rather than in the political arena. An Irish senator, independent senator and gay rights activist called David Norris took a case to the European courts under human rights law and won the case, and thereby forced the Irish politicians to change the law that had outlawed homosexual acts in Ireland. There's a kind of side story there which is quite funny, which is David Norris. He's a fairly outspoken gay activist and someone who the media turn to regularly when these type of issues arise. And there was an issue some years back when the Pope made one of his regular pronouncements that it's okay to discriminate against homosexuals in certain circumstances. And the then Catholic Archbishop of Dublin, Archbishop Desmond Connell, publicly agreed with the Pope, and the media went to David and asked him for a response. Now, to put David's response in context, Archbishop Connell is a fairly conservative Catholic who did his doctoral thesis partly on angels. And David was asked for his response to the fact that the Archbishop had said it's okay to discriminate against homosexuals. And David said, "Well, it just goes to show that Archbishop Connell may know a lot about angels, but he knows feck all about fairies."